What if I told you that buried within ancient texts and forgotten scrolls lies evidence of a civilization so advanced that it makes our modern technology look primitive? Today we're diving deep into one of history's most enigmatic periods, the ANUHAZI era, a time that challenges everything we think we know about human development and our place in the cosmos. Picture this. While most of humanity was supposedly living in caves and struggling to make fire, there existed a civilization with knowledge of genetics, quantum physics, and interdimensional travel. Sounds like science fiction, right? But the evidence suggests otherwise, and what we're about to uncover will fundamentally shift your perspective on human history. The ANUHAZI era represents a period in our distant past where beings of extraordinary intelligence and capability flourished on Earth. These weren't your typical ancient humans struggling with basic survival. These were entities who understood the very fabric of reality itself. They possessed technologies that could manipulate matter at the atomic level, create sustainable energy sources, and even influence the genetic development of life forms across multiple star systems, and more. But here's where it gets really interesting. The ANUHAZI weren't just advanced humans. According to the ancient records, they were part of a larger cosmic community, connected to other civilizations throughout the galaxy through sophisticated communication networks and transportation systems that defied our current understanding of physics. This connection changed everything. Over the next minutes, we'll reconstruct what their daily life, their cities, and their downfall might have looked like using surviving records and the traces they left behind. We'll examine technology, social structure, genetic evidence, and the cataclysm that erased them from history. What you see next may be hard to accept, but the record is clear. Imagine cities that literally floated above the ground, powered by crystalline energy matrices that drew power directly from the Earth's electromagnetic field. Transportation wasn't limited to walking or primitive vehicles. The ANUHAZI had mastered what we might call teleportation, allowing instant travel across vast distances. Their buildings weren't constructed in the conventional sense, but were grown using advanced biotechnology that created living structures capable of self-repair and adaptation. The social structure of ANUHAZI civilization was equally fascinating. Rather than the hierarchical systems we see throughout most of human history, they operated on principles of collective consciousness and shared knowledge. Information wasn't hoarded by elites, but flowed freely through what can only be described as a biological internet, a network of consciousness that allowed individuals to access the collective wisdom of their entire civilization. A living library at every mind's reach. But perhaps most intriguing of all was their understanding of genetics and biological engineering. The ANUHAZI didn't just study life, they created it. They were capable of designing new species, enhancing existing ones, and even creating hybrid beings that combined the best traits of multiple life forms. This wasn't crude experimentation, but precise, purposeful creation based on deep understanding of how consciousness interacts with physical matter. Their cities were sustained by crystalline matrices. Clean, self-regenerating energy pulled directly from the planet. Teleportation meant distance no longer governed daily life. Travel became instantaneous, and communities spanned planetary scales. Homes were living systems, adapting to occupants and repairing themselves without tools. Art and ritual were integrated with science. Music tuned to crystalline resonances, architecture grown to harmonic ratios. Their iconography shows contact, exchange, and a sense of stewardship rather than conquest. They saw themselves as part of a broader cosmic community, custodians of knowledge and life. Records suggest their influence extended beyond Earth. Engineered ecosystems on moons, seeded life on distant worlds, and genetic lineages spanning systems. Their genetic engineering created stable, adaptable life suited to different environments. Hybridization was used to solve ecological problems, not for spectacle. But extraordinary capability breeds scrutiny. Other forces, unknown in our records, watched and reacted. What followed changed everything. A cataclysm is recorded, but its cause is not what you expect. The ANUHAZI era came to an abrupt end due to what ancient texts describe as a great cataclysm, not just a natural disaster, but an intentional intervention by forces that saw the ANUHAZI as a threat to the natural order. This intervention didn't just destroy their physical civilization, it actually altered human DNA itself. effectively switching off the genetic codes that allowed for higher consciousness and advanced cognitive abilities. What we consider normal human intelligence today is actually a dramatically reduced version of what our species was originally capable of achieving. If this civilization was so advanced, what happened to them? Why don't we see evidence of their technology today? The answer lies in a cosmic event that fundamentally altered the trajectory of life on Earth. Sometimes the record was erased or hidden, intentionally obscured by time and intervention. This intervention didn't just destroy their physical civilization, it actually altered human DNA itself, effectively switching off the genetic codes that allowed for higher consciousness and advanced cognitive abilities. Every human alive today carries within their genetic code the dormant potential for abilities that would seem superhuman by current standards. We're not evolving toward greater intelligence and capability. We're slowly recovering fragments of what we once were. Certain ancient structures around the world show construction techniques that shouldn't have been possible with primitive tools. Mysterious artifacts discovered in archaeological digs display properties that modern science can't fully explain. Even more intriguing are the genetic anomalies occasionally found in human DNA, sequences that appear to serve no current function but might represent dormant codes from our advanced past. The clues are scattered, subtle, and easy to miss. Some researchers believe that forces intervened because the ANUHAZI's abilities threatened the balance of biological and cosmic systems. The records are symbolic, encoded in myth and ritual, pointing to a decision to limit our species' potential. Whether this was protection, punishment, or something else remains contested. Some researchers believe that the awakening of these dormant genetic sequences is already beginning to happen. Children being born with unusual abilities, adults experiencing spontaneous increases in psychic sensitivity, and the rapid advancement of human technology might all be signs that we're slowly recovering our original capabilities. If true, the implications are staggering. The ANUHAZI era wasn't just ancient history, it's a blueprint for humanity's potential future. Understanding this period gives us insight into what we might become as we continue to evolve and rediscover our true nature. The technologies they possessed, the social structures they created, and the consciousness they achieved might all be accessible to us once again. What's particularly fascinating is how this knowledge has been preserved throughout history in various forms, hidden in religious texts, encoded in mythology, and passed down through secret traditions. The truth about our past has never been completely lost, just obscured and misunderstood. Deciphering those patterns may be the work of generations. But it's beginning now, so the next time you feel limited by current human capabilities, remember the ANUHAZI era. Remember that within your very DNA lies the potential for extraordinary abilities and consciousness that transcends anything we consider normal today. We're not just biological machines struggling for survival. We're temporarily diminished versions of beings who once navigated the stars and created life itself. The question isn't whether we can return to that level of advancement. It's whether we're ready to embrace the responsibility that comes with such power and knowledge. If you want to explore more, examine the texts, visit the ruins, study the genetic data, and keep an open but skeptical mind. The past is patient, and the future is waiting for us to remember. Are we ready?